everyone, it's Vanessa and welcome back to Late Night Frights. That is honestly something that I didn't think I would ever say again. It just feels like really weird not saying it after a while, but it's really nice to be back doing this because I love horror movies so much and that really hasn't changed. Within the 2-year span we haven't been doing this, if horror movies have still been such a big part of my life, I still watch them all the time and I still love them. It's really nice to be doing this again because I just love talking about horror movies and everything about them. There's been some good movies that have been coming out that I've just been really liking, and one of them was the It remake that came out back in September in 2017. I was so excited for the movie that I went to see it the first day it came out. I went to a drive-in with my family and it was just so much fun. I love the original so much, and it's really cool to like see an older film being remade. I'm gonna just talk about my opinions about it because I really enjoyed the film. Initial reactions when I saw this film is that just the way it was filmed was so remarkable. I think the cinematography was just fantastic. The opening scene, you know, the classic scene when Georgie goes to the sewer, it was very similar to the original, obviously, because that's such an iconic scene. They have to have that in there. When watching that scene again, it wasn't like I was watching the exact same scene from the original. I really liked the way they shot it with the rain and the whole death scene. I really liked that one because it really showed how gruesome, you know, Pennywise is, and it just really set the tone for the rest of the film. You know, in the original they kind of do a cutscene and you don't really see it. So I really liked how they showed it in this film. To backtrack a little bit, I like that this movie was rated R because a lot of horror films nowadays want to make their movies PG-13 to have a broader audience and be able to make more money. So I think this movie needed to be rated R. It's just essential for the storyline. I can't even picture this movie being PG-13. That just doesn't make sense. If it was PG-13, this would just not, it wouldn't be the same movie. I really enjoyed how they kind of broke down each character, and this movie, everyone knows, like they've talked about it 100 times, this movie is basically about character development and showing how each character, what they're afraid of and what they go through individually in the film, and then when they come together as a whole, what they all go through together, how they all like make the group apart, like make the group be the Losers Club. In the original film miniseries, they do touch on character development with like Beverly and her dad. They do that for each character, but I feel like in this movie in 2017 they definitely broke it down more and really showcased what each character goes through. I think it's very important to showcase each individual character's fear, so when they end up facing their fears, it's more impactful. So I think they definitely were successful in that sense because, you know, towards the end of the climax when they finally take down Pennywise, it definitely has more weight to it because you know what the characters have been through. Just the actors themselves who play out the characters, they were all phenomenal. I really think they were all so extremely talented, and they definitely made you invested in their characters, and you felt sorry for like each character. I feel at one point, really with her dad, you obviously feel bad for that situation because it's very intense and everything. As far as remaking the original, what I liked about this is that they put specific things that happened from the original into this film, but I feel like they just kind of amped it up a bit. For example, the scene when Ben falls down the hill and is getting chased by Henry Bowers and his friends. That scene in the original, he just falls down a hill and then, you know, they end up finding him. Scene in this film, they kind of like amped it up, him going through the lake. It wasn't necessarily a lake, but it had very shallow water, and just that shot from like the bird's eye view, it was so beautiful to watch. And sometimes you forget that this is a horror film because there's scenes where you would think this is just like a nice friendly film, they're friends having fun. To counteract that, there are scenes where they're in the sewers and it's just so dark and edgy, and I think it does a really nice balance of that. Another thing I liked about this film is that they made the kids, like the 13-year-old, realistic. I feel like sometimes movies have a bad portrayal about younger kids because they just want to make them all innocent and bubbly, but the truth is, you know, younger 13-year-old boys swear and they joke around and make, you know, dumb jokes all the time. So I think they were really hitting it on the mark when they were trying to portray these 13-year-olds accurately. However, I feel like sometimes they were just kind of like shoving it down your throat that, yes, 13-year-olds swear, I know that, I get it. I feel like sometimes it was over the top a little bit, but they do put a lot of comedic elements in this film, because I feel like when you have a huge horror film that's very like intense and suspenseful, you need comedic elements just to give the audience like a laugh or two, because that's just it gives you the whole experience, having laughing, being scared, all that stuff. I think Bill Skarsgård was fantastic as Pennywise. He definitely had that creepy element to him. I feel like in this film he was definitely more scary than in the original, but obviously with that came out in 1989 and this is 2017, so they obviously have more advanced technology and special effects to make him look scarier. So I mean, that's not really the original movie's fault. Something I also really enjoyed is the soundtrack to this film. When it showcases the house, the sound, like in the trailer, the thing that like first caught my eye was the soundtrack when I saw it. And then when I watched the movie, the soundtrack is just so spot on. It's so unique too, and I really like it. Couldn't find too many things I didn't like about the movie besides the fact that they were trying to like really emphasize the fact that these were 13-year-old boys. They really try to hit that nail on the head. Henry Bauer's character, I really think what I liked about this film is that they kind of showcased why Henry Bowers bullies these other kids, because his home life isn't good too. He has problems with his dad and he's afraid of his dad, so he wants, you know, these kids to be afraid of him. It's like that whole shift in power theme. He wants to have the power because in his home life he never has it and he feels he has no control of his life, so that's why he bullies these younger kids, because he has the control in that aspect, and he knows that they can't really fight back. Which leads to the whole rock throwing scene, which they did. That was shot really well too, because like the rock scene in the original wasn't as funny, I guess you would say, because they're throwing rocks at each other. It's just so crazy to me. And so in this film they have like a song in the background, and it's definitely more on the comedic side, and it's really entertaining. The ending of the film was kind of cheesy, I'm not gonna lie. It was very kind of like wrapping up the storyline really nicely. They did stick to the original where they all, you know, hold hands and make a pact to come back if Pennywise ever comes to Derry again in 27 years. So they did, you know, so that was very similar. It still had that same impact, which is what I really like about this movie. Even though you know what's gonna happen, you still feel the suspense and it's all still there, even though you literally know the story. Like, I know the storyline of it so well, but then again, like watching this film, I still felt scared, or you know, I still had all those same emotions I did with the original, and they were just like amplified. I think that was really impressive in the acting and everything, the special effects, the cinematography. It was all amazing. The ending was a little cheesy, but the sequel, they needed it to end in that kind of way. Rated 1 out of 10, I would probably give this movie an 8.5 or a 9. I really enjoyed it, and I could probably watch this movie a few more times. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been a great time just talking about this movie. It's been so fun, and I hope you guys liked it. If you did, give this video a thumbs up, and I'll talk to you guys all next time. Bye.